What's up, VC? John here again, the Digital Gramophone. Thought I'd do something a little different today. First, for those of you that do watch my channel, like 12 of you that watch it, if there's even that many, you know that my wife and I recently welcomed our second child, and with that, I promised her, and really myself too, you know, that I would slow down on the vinyl purchasing, almost completely stop for a while. And I say almost because there are some new albums that are coming out this year by some of my favorite current artists, and some of them already have pre-ordered. And so, you know, there's probably about 6 or 7 that are coming out that are must-haves for me before the end of the year. And really, that's probably going to be it. Definitely no used bin shopping. Probably going to have to stay out of the record store altogether. We just, you know, take care of his bitch. And, we're really going to need the extra money, and I know that a lot of it comes from me buying records. So sacrifices that you have to make, but it's okay. I'm buried under music. I'm so far behind on catching up with stuff. I kind of went on this total binge over the last year, you know, 11 months, not quite the year, but almost like 10 to 11 months, trying to just buy up everything that I could before I'd have to eventually just kind of stop. And so what I thought I would do today is, I know this was driving some of you crazy, right? The stack sitting on top of it. Oh man, y'all were probably like, dude, what are you doing? Hadn't been there long, don't worry. But anyway, what I thought I would do, because I kind of poke fun about Vinyl Finds videos and stuff, even though that's what like 90% of the VC is, and where does this guy come off? He's barely been here since January, and he's already poking fun at things we do. But no, and then of course I've done my own Vinyl Finds, you know, so sorry if I'm looking like, but I've got a monitor with me today. But anyway, what I thought I'd do is an official Vinyl Finds video, my first official Vinyl Finds video, and my last official Vinyl Finds video for a long time. So yeah, let's do that. Most of this stuff I've got, it was all in February. I thought about going back into January, but that was just too much. And I want to try and get through this pretty quickly. I'm already behind. So let's start off with, and some of this is in the last week or two too. So let's start off with, I'm a Vinyl Me Please member, and I'm going to have to cancel that subscription. And this was a perfect record of the month to go out on. De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising. Classic hip hop album. Such a great idea for them to repress it. I'll show you, this is probably the only vinyl I'm gonna show you out of the sleeve jacket. It's pressed on clear orange, green, blue splatter. I like Vinyl Me Please a lot more now than when I first joined them a while back. I quit them for a while and then I got back on board. Their selections for the month have been pretty spot on. I mean, they've been great actually for the last several months. And you can trade if you don't want. You can trade for a couple of other options. But this one was was perfect. Perfect selection by him. I haven't spun it yet. I don't own a lot of hip hop on vinyl, and most of the hip hop that I do own is from the 80s, 90s. I just don't think new hip hop is really worth purchasing on vinyl anymore. But anyway, with that, I had pre-ordered this album by this Indianapolis band, Duran Jones and the Indications, their R&B outfit, part of this kind of slightly underground R&B revival, soul revival. A lot of people will say, well, if you like Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings and Charles Bradley, you're going to love this. Well, you know, you should love this if you love any R&B, like especially from the 60s and 70s. That's really good stuff, and I pre-ordered it from Vinyl Me Please, so they sent it with the De La Soul record. Here's one that I was super pleased has been repressed. I bought it when it first came out on CD. And the vinyl, before they repressed this, was incredibly expensive online. I've seen them listed for over $100. But this is the Black Crowes, Before the Frost Until the Freeze. Incredible album. I'm a big Black Crowes fan. I kind of dipped out on them in the later 90s into the early 2000s. I mean, I kept buying their new records, but then I just wasn't pleased with them, and I'd trade them back in. Then they went on their hiatus, and then they got back together, and this is one of two new albums that they recorded. They recorded this, they holed themselves up in the mountains, and they recorded this in front of a live audience of like their most dedicated fans. I think like fan club members and I don't know who else, but a very select group of people, lucky people to have witnessed this. They recorded this whole thing live. It is just I think it's one of their best albums in their entire career. So yeah, I was super glad they repressed this. I'll show the vinyl on this one too, because it's, even though I'm not huge into colored vinyl, but sometimes stuff's nice, and I've spun this and it sounds great. This kind of blue and white swirl. Am I giving you an itch, Sam? If you're watching this, am I giving you an itch with this colored vinyl? Anyway, this is a new one by a band called Pinegrove. I fell in love with their debut album. I think it came out in 2016. They're a really good band out of New Jersey. It's indie rock, but it's kind of got a slight influence of from alt country, 90s alt country, and I would say because of their age, they're young. They're a bunch of youngsters. I would say because of that, they were probably very influenced in their teens by like the emo scene of the 2000s. So this packs quite an emotional punch, even though it doesn't have that same sonically, it's not the sound of emo, which you would consider emo, but it's extremely emotional songwriting, and this is a really good album too. It saw a vinyl delay because there were some issues with the front man, and if you're curious, you can look it up. It's kind of convoluted, and so they finally released it, and it's really good. This is a new album from Mandolin Orange, folk duo out of Raleigh, North Carolina. If you like Americana, and you haven't heard of this band, check it out. Kind of in those same lines, but not exactly, because I think he's more straightforward, kind of country and honky tonk. But this new album from Hayes Carll. Hayes Carll is from Texas. He's an incredible singer-songwriter, one of the best going today. If you like Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson, I guess I'll throw Chris Stapleton in there. Sorry, I don't mean to sound dismissive of Chris Stapleton. I like Chris Stapleton. It's just that he's just talked about so much But anyway, you will really like this if you like those guys. Or even some like, you know, if you like early Casey Musgraves stuff, and or Margot Price, you know, you should like this. He's just got a great wit, but can also write some really touching stuff too. I saw him open for Jason Isbell back in 2011, and I'd never heard of him, and when he was done, half the audience walked out before the headliner. They were all there just to see him, and that was shocking. I've never witnessed that before. And but anyway, he's super solid singer-songwriter. That's a great album. I have 2 of his other ones. I picked this up. I don't know when it was released. Originally released a year ago or 2 years ago maybe. But Lunchbox Records here in Charlotte, they got some more copies in. This is a live album of Nirvana from 1990, so obviously before Nevermind. And this was recorded at the Milestone Club, which is a famous kind of punk dive club here in Charlotte. And it has a lot of history, this being one of those moments in history. And so that's why I picked it up. I hadn't even listened to it yet. You'll probably hear me talk about the Milestone in the future. Those were all just recent pickups. I don't consider those finds. I knew those were coming out, or knew them already. So these were all used bin finds, or just digging finds. I'll start with the ones that I've found in the used bins in some of my recent trips. It's just like 4 or 5 here. This Fairport Convention album. This is the first Fairport Convention album I've owned on vinyl. I had their kind of, I guess, their most famous early album. Well, I thought it was their most famous early album. I can't remember the name of it right now. But I'm in a hurry trying to get this done. But yeah, this one was 1970. It was this was the last one with Richard Thompson. I haven't even gotten a chance to listen to it yet, but it was $8 and it looked to be in pretty good condition. The cover's a little, got some bend in it, but not a ton of wear, and it's got this nice texture. Just don't make jackets like they used to. But anyway, looking forward to spinning that. I need more of their stuff. Here's a Split Enz, the Finn Brothers. Solid little new wave album. I'm always looking for this stuff if I can find it for like, $5 to $8, and you generally can. So yeah, this was in that range. Here's another Fetch and Bones album. I talked about them in a previous video. They're from Charlotte, an late 80s alternative rock band. Kind of, actually just a little before its time in my opinion, but yeah, you'll hear me talk about them some more here in the future. And then picked up the Stray Cats. Love Brian Setzer, so if it's cheap, grab it. And then this one is my one of my more favorite pickups, or just glad to have found it. Not that it's one of my favorite albums or anything, but it's just this, you don't really come across this a ton. This is the 1985 debut album from Southern Culture on the Skids. Yeah, I already said that. 1985. Band out of Chapel Hill. Man, how do you describe them? Country influence, rockabilly, real retro outfit. you'll hear me talk about them some more in the future, definitely. All right, all of these ones, this next stack that I'm going to try and fly through, I got in a trade at Dylan from Nova Records, Dylan's most recent pop-up. Dylan and I live close to each other, same area, and broad area. And so anyway, I've been to a few of his pop-ups. He's the whole reason why I'm even doing these videos. But anyway, Beach Boys are swinging. I don't know why I just laughed at that. It's because I was like reading the back of it like before, but it's just the Beach Boys Summer Days and Summer Nights. I mean, such an idiot. This is just a little $5 copy. You know, not in terrible shape, but not in the best shape. But I'm always looking to pick these up for my son Sam, who is a Beach Boys fanatic, and performs in what we're told now at daycare, now performs for the class. He will try and gather a group of the kids and then sing for them and then tell them that was Barbara Ann by the Beach Boys. And yeah, that was not my intention. I don't care, music geek or not.
This song's called Barbara. Barbara, in my hand, Barbara, waggy, waggy, ba, Barbara. Just zoned it.
It's all over now.
Nonetheless, always looking to pick these up. We'll turn them over to him when he's ready for his own turntable. Maybe in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. He's only 3 now, if I didn't already say that. The Bob Seger system. Seen this one a lot on the VC. A lot of VCLT exchanging hands with this album. Picked that up because I got a good copy of Back in 72 online for a really good price. Those of you that are in the know on that album, it's really expensive and really hard to find. That changed my entire perspective on Bob Seger. I had his later 70s stuff and early 80s. I wish they had just a greatest hits on vinyl of all that stuff, and I don't think they do. I think it's all, I've checked and I'm pretty sure it's only on CD, but whatever. So I've been looking for more early Bob Seger. That one I haven't heard yet. Here's the Smoking OPs. Smoking OPs. Sorry, I have heard this. Just great covers, and he just slays. Love the One You're With. I like Stephen Stills. I like that song, but this one, man, he just slays. It's great. Some really good covers. His Leon Russell cover, Hummingbird, phenomenal. But yeah, glad to pick that one up. ZZ Top's first album. So I now have their first 3. ZZ Top's a band that I've always wanted to have more of and be more knowledgeable of, and so in the past year I've been just on the lookout for their early stuff. I saw when they released that box set of their first 5 albums, and I almost bought it, but I was like, no, because I know I can come across those cheap, a lot cheaper, and in decent quality. So I've held out, and I've got all the first 3 albums now. So yeah, excited about that. A lot of this stuff that I'm showing, I would normally on a purposeful day of going out record shopping, I would even pass on, because I know I'm going to come across it again. And but when I'm at one of Dylan's pop-ups, and especially because I was there to trade, if I'm even on the fence, I just pull it out. Because if you don't than somebody else is going to. So I'll just pull out and I'll just come to him with like a stack of records, like, and we'll just go through them and figure out what I can keep and what I can't, based on what I have to bring him. But anyway, here's another. I picked up Tattoo at one of his other pop-ups, and I've really enjoyed that album. And so Rory Gallagher, that's somebody else I've just always wanted to get into more, and so picked up this one, Deuce. Couple of Thin Lizzies, Johnny the Fox, Fightin'. I love Thin Lizzy. Those are two I've had on CD. I've just not on vinyl, and picked them up. The covers are in bad shape, but he told me the vinyl would be in better shape. But he knows I know that I can always take it back to him if I'm not satisfied. He's cool. Here's another one that we see a lot on the VC, and like I said, I've even passed it up since watching videos and seeing this out there a lot, but I just decided to pick it up that day as a Quicksilver Messenger Service. Don't need to talk about that one. Here's a 10 Years After, another 10 Years After album. This is a band that I've gained a lot more respect for in the last like 2 or 3 years. So I've just been picking their stuff up when I see. He always has a ton of their stuff, because I'm sure he's probably got like a closet full of just 10 Years After and like 15 copies of Quicksilver Messenger Service, and like those Bob Seger albums and stuff, Yeah, but anyway, here's an album that my VC buddy, The Age of Analog, has talked about her a lot, or talked about her in a couple of videos, and one at a good stretch. I think it was his Vinyl Tag, maybe. But anyway, this is someone I've always wanted to get more into as well, and I remember seeing her perform on like a rerun of Saturday Night Live, like from like the late 80s, and was really impressed with the performance. But I was like in high school, not in the late 80s, but that rerun. I was in high school at the time, and just wasn't really into artists like this. And if I was, I wasn't letting anybody know about it. But this is Rickie Lee Jones. I'm pretty sure this is her debut. I could be wrong, probably now, but that would be embarrassing if I am. But anyway, I know this is one that I've seen a lot, and I know that it has glowing reviews, and she's kind of a critic's darling, or was at the time. And so yeah, just pick that up, super cheap. And then these last two were kind of like the best finds of the day for me. This is an original mono on reprise, so it's US, original mono from '65, Kink size. I don't have a ton of early Kinks on LP or vinyl. Well, do you still consider Face to Face early, even though it's '66? I don't know. Where's the line? But 66 on, I have a few of those, several of those albums, but not the 64, 65 stuff, I guess. And so this is more of like a comp, but it was in really good shape, and so I decided to pick it up. And then this one, out of nowhere, nothing in common with any of those, well, maybe except Thin Lizzy. The debut album from Queens of the Stone Age. This is a highly sought after album for people that are into this type of music, and forget originals or any of the first presses, even from other countries. Way too expensive. This one's even pricey online. This is a 2011 version, but it's on Domino. And anyway, I'm a big Queens of the Stone Age fan, and I've just never had their first album even on CD. So I saw this, and he had a big whopping $50 price tag on this bad boy. And I wavered, but then I was like, you know, it's trade. So I went on ahead and said, yeah, I'll take this. And the median price, this $50 was well under the median price of what this goes for on Discogs, so it was totally worth it. And yeah, so that's it. Even though a bunch of those I got from that pop-up on trade, that's about the amount of records that I pick up in a 2-month period, and so on average, and so as you can see, probably a smart decision financially with the baby and everything, to kind of take a break. But I'm still going to be making videos. Like I said, vinyl finds aren't really my thing, so it's never been my intention to make my channel about those. I said, I've mentioned this before. I have a series I want to do on North Carolina bands and artists, and so I'm going to be starting that up pretty soon. And then I have a couple of other ideas for some genre videos, or just here's what I have of this artist, in my collection or something like that. But and then I'm sure there will be plenty of contests to enter, because there's just a ton of contests out there right now. I got to do another one here in a minute. But yeah, so anyway, till next time.